A bear attack leaves a family on edge. Hear why they say wildlife officials aren't doing enough.
Plus, a plan to reintroduce bighorn sheep into the Little Belt. We'll take a closer look at the timeline.
And later, with COVID cases on the rise and school starting next week, how parents are feeling about the new year.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Also tonight, coronavirus may be hitting Native American communities harder than others. Thanks for making KRTV a part of your Friday evening. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. First tonight, in late July, we told you how one Teton County man survived an encounter with a grizzly bear. But as Tom Wiley explains, his fight to keep his family safe was far from over.
It's been 3 weeks since Shannon Rammel was attacked by a bear just outside of this barn near his property, and his physical wounds are starting to heal.
It's going pretty good. This hand, I'm starting to feel my fingers in there and moving.
But the emotional wounds are still fresh for Rammel and his family.
It's just a lot of fear. My daughter, she's scared to death. She won't come out of the house. It's just hard on all of us. And
the grizzly bear that attacked Shannon has still not been located after weeks of searching.
For 12 days, we did ground searches. We did 3 aerial searches. We did a fixed wing, we did a helicopter, and we did another helicopter. We also put up a drone.
Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks believe the bear left the area following the attack and has not returned.
But with the equipment and manpower we put out there, if we didn't find it, it left the area.
But Rammel is not so sure.
And we've got tracks of the grizzly right next to the ponds, and my neighbors have got pictures.
One of his neighbors snapped this photo last week, and when Rammel took us to a nearby watering hole to show us fresh tracks, members of the nearby New Rockport colony stopped to show us a picture they'd taken just days earlier. FWP claims the bear photographed is likely a research bear.
We found bears 5, 6, 7 miles away. One was a collared bear, so we knew it wasn't that one.
But Rammel claims none of the witnesses ever saw a collar.
My neighbors and everybody else is, like I said, them other people seen the bear too, and it doesn't have a collar on it.
Then just last week, Rammel's 11-year-old daughter claims she encountered the bear again on their property.
I was gonna go under the crane and grab my mom's baby goats when I heard his growl.
Growl, what did it sound like?
It sounded the growl when Dad got attacked by the grizzly bear.
When the family investigated, they found the door ripped off of their chicken coop and what appeared to be scratch marks. But when FWP arrived, they said there was no evidence of a bear.
Now, Fish and Game can say this bear is not here. He's here. This is his whole territory.
A bear that has an encounter with a human like this, grizzly bears, 99% of the time, they take off and they're looking for a place to go, and they're not sticking around.
Last week, several live traps were removed, and FWP installed an electric fence around the Rammel's property, but that hasn't made the family feel much safer.
I've had fence with cows, and they used to get out all the time, so I really don't have faith in their fence out here. I mean, I have a 3-year-old. They say it shocks really hard.
Ultimately, the Rammel family wants closure, and they're not sure they'll get it until the bear that attacked Shannon is captured and killed.
I was really disappointed that our nightmares never ended, and they're ongoing. Ever since this attack, I've been promised that this bear was going to get killed, because it attacked a human being, and that's been not the case at all.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Rammel runs a firewood business that sells to vendors around the state. He hasn't been able to work while recovering from his injuries. Friends have set up a GoFundMe account to ease the financial burden. You can find a link to that in this story at KRTV.com.
Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks may begin the reintroduction of bighorn sheep to the Little Belt Mountains as soon as this winter. The Fish and Wildlife Commission unanimously approved the effort at this week's commission meeting. Bighorn sheep had historically lived in the mountains until their population was decimated in the early 1900s. Reintroduction plans will work to establish separate herds of around 100 sheep at a time, with the goal of some level of connectivity forming between the herds in the mountain range. The commission praised the plan and the department's efforts in reestablishing historic herds in the state.
To me, it's exciting. That's something that dates back quite a number of years, where we've told the department we would like to see areas relocated versus going out of state, and they are fulfilling that.
In 1962, FWP transplanted 18 bighorn sheep into the Sheep Creek area of the Little Belt. However, that restoration attempt ultimately failed. Well, we're expecting a warmer weekend, and next week we could even see the triple digits. Here's MTN's Elizabeth Copeland with a first look at our forecast.
Well, nothing much has changed since yesterday, except for this time yesterday we had a few more clouds in the sky of our Helena iCam. Now looking over at the capital city, almost a bluebird day out there, while cooler temperatures have stuck around, but we did manage to make it into the mid 80s this afternoon in some spots across the High Line. Helena at 81 and Great Falls at 80. While the rest of the northeast corner making it just barely into those mid 80s this afternoon, but warmer weather is on the way, and typically this time of year we're topping out in the upper 80s, and that's what will be tomorrow afternoon for our fishing forecast. You're going to look to the closest lake maybe to cool off, especially as temperatures continue rising through early next week. So as you wake up on your Saturday morning enjoying that 60-degree weather, again, another bluebird day expected. We're going to hit 86, 87 tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about temperatures rising into the 90s for the weekend coming up here shortly.
The state of Montana is reporting 134 new coronavirus cases since yesterday. The second Missoula County resident to pass away from COVID-19 brings the statewide death toll to 82. There are 67 active cases in Cascade County, Phillips County now with 64, and 58 in Lewis and Clark. The state has administered just under 200,000 tests, and as of tonight, 86 people remain hospitalized. The pandemic has created a perfect storm for those who suffer from eating disorders. Experts say that social isolation, food insecurity, and panic buying are just some of the factors that can trigger a relapse in eating disorder patients. Patients with low body weight are at a high risk for contracting the virus, making it even more dangerous for them to receive in-person treatment even when it's needed most. In Great Falls, therapists say they're overwhelmed with new and returning eating disorder patients. It comes after the Great Falls Eating Disorder Task Force halted meetings indefinitely earlier this year. The owner of Emily Wish, an eating disorder clinic in Great Falls, says her practice is struggling to keep up with the demand.
It's completely been nonstop. Just emails, calls, just referrals from people in the community. It's a perfect storm, as I said, for an eating disorder to start, for an eating disorder to relapse, and a really hard environment to consistently engage in recovery behavior. Unfortunately, I don't think it's anything that's going to slow down soon. The need will get higher.
If you think you or someone you know may suffer from an eating disorder, you can find some helpful resources on our website.
The Montana Department of Health and Human Services released new data breaking down how the virus is impacting Montanans along racial and ethnic lines. It shows the virus may be hitting Native American communities harder than others. Native Americans make up 7% of Montana's total population, but the data shows that they account for 18% of all coronavirus cases in the state and 34% of all coronavirus deaths as of August 7th. Native Americans are also at a greater risk for pre-existing health conditions that could make them more susceptible to the virus. Tribal health leaders tell MTN the new data reflects the challenges their communities have long faced when it comes to health care.
We have a high-risk population here that we need to, take care of. We don't have the health delivery system to hospitalize somebody here, so that's a really big challenge for us. When somebody does need that emergent care, they need to be either ambulanced or airlifted out to a larger hospital like Great Falls, Billings, and Havre.
State epidemiologists continue to work with the CDC to analyze the latest data on how the virus may be impacting tribal communities. Well, Browning students will be learning virtually this fall, but there are still opportunities for hands-on learning through a partnership with NASA. Members of Montana State University Academic Technology and Outreach distributed 500 NASA space kits to families this week. They're through a partnership with Blackfeet Community College and a grant from NASA. The kits include 8 missions meant to encourage the next generation of astronauts and engineers by getting them excited about space science. The kits also blend Western science with Blackfeet science.
We want to be very beneficial to these students. We want interventions that actually have results. So that's what this is all about, is really promoting them to go into STEM, creating that pipeline for them to get there, providing them the identity to advocate for themselves within that field.
According to Shao, they plan to distribute hundreds of kits on the Flathead Indian Reservation as well. There are also opportunities for students to work with drones and robotics and even compete.
The reopening plans for the Great Falls Public School District was approved earlier this week. Although it is subject to change, some teachers and parents are optimistic. KRTV's Matt Holzathel spoke with two teachers who are also parents to get their reactions.
The plan is approved, the start date is set. School will be back in session in Great Falls on August 26th. But what do the district's parents and teachers think about the school board's plan to reopen schools?
Our school district has worked so hard to come up with a plan that hopefully will work, and I appreciate that they've put so much effort into trying to figure out something as both a teacher and a parent.
I'm excited for in-person. I like the idea of being in-person or remote. A hybridized version would be extremely challenging, and I don't think that as a teacher I could deliver the best instruction having to be two different teachers at once.
Students will have the option for either in-person or remote learning, but teachers will be able to focus on one or the other. The reopening plan asks that students commit to a minimum amount of time if they opt for remote learning. Both Rachel and Dawn admit that they do have concerns and understand that other people might as well.
I worry about my kids' safety, I worry about my own safety, coming home and giving it to my mother. So I think that my concern is that kids will take things serious and wear their masks.
Rachel, Dawn, Superintendent Tom Moore, and every board member I spoke with agree that this plan must be fluid and will more than likely have to be adjusted throughout the school year. In fact, there's already one change coming. The plan says that masks will be required in most settings in school and may be required for fans at extracurricular activities. On August 12th, Governor Bulk announced that face coverings will be required in all K-12 schools and counties with 4 or more active cases of COVID-19. In Great Falls, Matt Holzathel, MTN News.
Both teachers say that they understand some families might not be comfortable sending their kids back to school yet, but they're excited to be able to see their students in person once again.
Finding some success in the wake of a pandemic. One business no longer sitting on pins and needles. Details are next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. While many business owners have been walking on pins and needles, awaiting the pandemic's next financial hardship, others have been using those pins and needles to their advantage.
Sewing shops have experienced nationwide success in the wake of coronavirus, but has that trend made it to Montana?
MTN's Lindsay Hyatt spoke with Bernina Silver-Thimble in Great Falls to find out.
Since the start of the pandemic, sewing and quilting shops like this have been oh so busy.
There's been a true resurgence or excitement about sewing again.
As more people try their hand at sewing, fewer sewing machines remain on hand for interested buyers.
We just can't keep a machine in the store.
As shoppers consider trying out a new trade.
People are home and they're wanting something to do. So they're getting those machines out and they're wanting to sew again and do their home deck and do their quilting and do their masks.
One out-of-state shopper has spent the pandemic making quilts for her loved ones.
I quilt. I do baby quilts and quilts for my grandkids.
The handiwork allows her to channel her inner creativity.
You develop a creative side that you probably don't even know.
One that will keep her quilting after the pandemic ends.
I mean, even if there's not a pandemic, it's like, yeah, that's just what I do.
Keeping textile shops running like a well-oiled sewing machine.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Temperatures remain cool to end our work week, but heading into the weekend, we're talking temperatures rising back in the 90s coming up here shortly.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Welcome back on this Friday evening. Thanks again for letting me fill in for you. It's almost the weekend, and today at least we got to enjoy one more day of cooler temperatures. We're still tracking mostly clear conditions in the forecast for north central northeast Montana. While we do have some stronger storms off in North Dakota, actually severe storm warning off in the North Dakota area, but all that activity is going to stay to our east. We're going to keep clear across north central southwest Montana really for the next couple of days. So we're not looking at too much moisture in the forecast. This is going to be the last day of cooler temperatures as well. We're talking the low 80s, mid 70s right now. So overall, much cooler than average this afternoon. A great way to end our work week, but we are going to track some more of those warmer temperatures right back in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday. So this is a look over Great Falls right now. We have those clear blue skies, lots of those green tree tops. Good to see this time of year, but otherwise, we're still going to track the warmer weather this weekend. Drier air is now sliding in. That's a good indicator since we don't have too many of those clouds in the sky this afternoon. So, of course, we're watching that fire danger, especially as temperatures skyrocket the early days of next week. So 79 right now, feeling like 78. Nice little breeze whipping through north central Montana, about 30-mile-per-hour gusts. And then again, that dew point, 29 degrees. That's very low. We're still going to see that drier air move in for the rest of next work week as well. So clear skies tonight, maybe a cloud or two across the northeast corner. Otherwise, we stay pretty clear of any moisture besides those few clouds across the northeast corner. We're not going to see too many of the clouds either, especially as you headed through Havre, Great Falls, down to Helena, Butte. All those areas are going to see bluebird-like conditions for tomorrow afternoon as well. But also this time tomorrow, those temperatures are going to be skyrocketing back up into the 90s. So above average temperatures are back in our forecast for your Saturday grill forecast. So waking up is 6 a.m., about 60 degrees, 80 degrees by about noon. So we're going to warm up quickly there, a good 20-degree jump from the 8 a.m. hour. And then we're going to still hit those highs right about in the upper 80s, low 90s tomorrow afternoon. Plenty of sunshine in store to get out the grill tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the best day to do that because we only get warmer from there, especially talking Sunday and Monday temperatures as they return quite a bit higher. So that gardening forecast, speaking of water and drier air, you may have to turn on the hose all days of the weekend and beginning of next week because we stay dry, temperatures increase, and Monday still tracks to be the hottest day of the week next week. So those flowers are going to need a little tending to, especially as we head into the end of the weekend and beginning of next week. And not only that, but our 6 to 10 day outlook is looking drier than average as well. So we're really going to get a dry spell here moving into all of Montana, and those warmer temperatures are going to hold steady across our area. Very high likelihood of warmer than average temperatures across all of the state and our 6 to 10 day outlook. So over our next 7 days, we're also going to track warmer than average temperatures, especially Sunday and Monday as we hit the low 90s on Sunday, upper 90s on Monday. There is a good possibility, especially heading to the northeast corner, some triple digits are possible for Monday afternoon. We're going to still see plenty of sunshine, though. Not too many chances of rain in the forecast over the next 7 days. The only time we do have a chance is going to be a very isolated chance, especially Tuesday into Wednesday morning.
Still to come, a different feel, but nonetheless, today was the first day of high school football practice. Player reaction is next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. Today was the first day of football practice in Montana.
MTN's Isaiah Dunk takes us to Great Falls Central.
It's the first day of high school football practice in Montana, and though things look and feel a little bit different because of COVID-19, here at Great Falls Central, they're just excited to be back on the field.
Very grateful. It's an opportunity not only to play football, but to grow with some of their teammates and some new people in the school. So I'm glad to be out here and have that opportunity. I'm completely new coaching staff, so it's pretty hard on some of the kids, especially the seniors, because we've had same coaching staff for 3 years, and now we have to adjust to new schemes and all that. But kids are pretty positive with everything.
That new coaching staff is anchored by Wes Ross, who was an assistant at Great Falls High last year. It's Ross's first head coaching gig, but despite the strange conditions, he considers himself fortunate.
You know, it's been a whirlwind, but I continue counting my blessings, how fortunate we are. Every day something else changes, and one thing I'm very proud of this team about is they've been very resilient, flexible, coachable. No matter what's asked of us, we step up.
That flexibility and coachability will be key in a year full of unknowns as the Mustangs try to make it back to the 8-man playoffs. So far, Central's schedule is on as originally planned. And though seeing news that all kinds of fall college sports are moving to the spring, it can be easy to be anxious about the season. But Coach Ross said for the Mustangs, when they're on the field, it's full steam ahead. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
As of now, Central will open the season hosting Twin Bridges at Memorial Stadium on August 29th. And we'll be right back.
Temperatures are on the rise through next Monday as we go from the upper 80s Saturday to the upper 90s on Monday. Again, a good chance of triple digits, especially across the northeast corner and the High Line on Monday afternoon. The only chance of rain we do have in the forecast is Tuesday, with a very isolated chance of showers in the forecast, but that's when our next disturbance moves through. That's going to kick out some of those hotter temperatures. Cooler air is back in, and we finally return to average next Thursday and Friday afternoon.
As millions of families know, working from home and parenting the little ones at the same time can be a challenge. So Fisher-Price has a new line of toys for babies and toddlers who want to hang out near mom and dad while they work.
The line includes a play office complete with toy laptop, pretend cell phone, and coffee cup. There's also a chef set, which has an apron bib and a chewable oven mitt. Also featured a baby biceps set that has a play dumbbell, headband, and a pretend protein shake drink cup. Also during the pandemic, Fisher-Price and Mattel have announced action figures of doctors, nurses, grocery workers, and delivery drivers.
So why the chewable oven mitt? My oven mitt's not chewable.
I don't know. I'd like the barbell. I think I could lift that one. You know, I think
okay.
It's right up my my limit there. All right, that's all the time we have. We hope to see you back here tonight at 10.